Hello, my name is Pierre Cadieux. I'm one of the managers of the Cisco Talos Incident Response team. I wanted to share a recent engagement that our team was able to help out a customer with that might provide some guidance for other people who are having similar issues or going through a similar incident. So this was an incident that occurred almost a year ago, and it was a retainer customer, a customer of ours who had an incident response retainer. They called us on a Friday, and they were experiencing a malware outbreak, and they were looking for assistance on trying to contain this. So we started engaging with them, and as we were engaging with them, immediately we saw the number of infected systems spike up from 20 to 80 to 100 plus systems. So this was definitely something that was spreading fast. We were able to identify the type of malware, and we had some intel on the malware type. So we were able to give them some immediate guidance on ways of containing this. So we helped to guide them towards network segmentation, which was able to contain the malware spread immediately. And also we had some guidance on turning off some of the other methods that were used for this malware to spread. So stopping the use of PowerShell, PSExec, WMI, as well as also deploying endpoint protection onto all the systems. This was able to help to contain the malware and prevent it from getting worse or spreading to more systems, or possibly switching over to being something worse, like maybe ransomware. At this point, about a year ago, this was when we were starting to see that jump from banking Trojans or other delivery methods over to ransomware as part of the normal threat actor behavior. So this was something that we were concerned about, since this customer was a healthcare company, somebody who has active hospitals, and we're actually having medical procedures being done in their hospitals during the time of this incident, which kind of, again, put it back towards being a real thing affecting real people. So we were able to guide them through that process of executing those changes, turning off those different capabilities, changing local administrative passwords as well, dealing with auditing and modifying their way that they do their domain administration as well, and putting blocks in place at the perimeter and within the environment to prevent those known infected systems from infecting other devices. Able to cap the number of systems around 350 that were impacted by this out of a possible 9,000. So that is a really good victory, as well as the fact that it never jumped over to a ransomware scenario. So the impact, thankfully, was only to 2 buildings versus the many buildings that they had possibly exposed. So again, this was definitely a win. And part of this goes back to the knowledge of their environment. So knowledge of their own assets, where these systems are, how to access them, and what function they provided. That helped them to be able to understand quickly what they could pull down, what they could segment off, etc. Then having a team members available to help with reimaging. They had 350 systems that needed to be reimaged. They needed to activate and deputize people to help with that reimaging process. They needed a lot of ways of moving systems around, and then to wipe them and reimage them, test them, and then get them back deployed. So they had to leverage the rest of the IT team to assist with that. So they had a lot of people moving around and moving systems. And there were some bumps along the road, but for the most part, that was a very successful process. Also, having different approaches for containment. You can't always rely on the first plan that you come up with. Sometimes network segmentation will work. Sometimes it's not going to be possible. So you need to think about endpoint isolation or other methods of containing systems. And maybe it's a virtual system. You can then turn off the network interface card virtually. There's all kinds of different approaches. But having multiple approaches prepares you for the time where you're going to need to pull out plan B and plan C and be able to execute on those. Developing a strong relationship within their information technology team, their IT team, was also important. This team has a very close relationship with the networking group, which was involved in a lot of the perimeter controls we were putting in place, the monitoring, the detection that was being done, which helped us to find the C2 activity that was being performed by the malware, and able to implement some blocks for that. And also able to use that to figure out whether systems are trying to call out to there, which helped us to scope the incident better. So all those are key pieces of the puzzle when you're dealing with an incident, and I hope this helped everybody.